Hello, excuse my funky look, but I was doing my makeup and I thought, okay, then I might as well pair it with another video, another deeper video. So let's start. The topic of this video is why you always feel bad. Because I have faced this problem for years now, and I always thought to myself, why do I feel so bad? Like, for example, I don't know, I've planned a meeting with friends, or I was about to go to uni, or I don't know, I wanted to go shopping by myself, especially when you're alone. Or when you're about to do something. I don't know if it's paired to ADHD as well, or trauma, or depression. I don't know where it stems from, but I know how you can start fixing it. Because in no way am I never feeling bad ever again. But there's like so much that plays into it that it's kind of hard to find the one reason, because there's just so many reasons why you always seem to feel bad and never know why, but you always kind of do. And for me, it's my internal dialogue, like that's the summary of it, but it gets so much deeper, especially when you have had toxic parents, or I need to find a word to censor it, or abusive parents, then there's a start, because you always internalize, or most of the time internalize, your parents' voices. And you always, especially if your parents were the guilt trippy type of parents, you internalize so much shame and you don't even realize it, and you shame and watch yourself so much. That's happened to me, and I always feel like I don't deserve to exist because of that. Like, for example, at the gym, I'm trying something new, and I feel so much shame because I've never done it. Like, I know how to, but I've never physically done it. So I feel so much shame that most of the time I don't even go to the gym, or I feel like I don't deserve to try out something new, or look funny doing something, or start anything. And that's just where it all starts, because then I don't go, or I don't do it, and then I let myself down and prove to myself that I can't trust myself, and that's just a downward spiral. Or when you're arguing with someone and you are right, but you haven't handled the situation perfectly, for example, then you feel so much guilt and shame, and just guilt and shame in general plays a role in this a lot, especially when doing something wrong. Whatever it is, you instantly feel bad, or you interpret so much into others people's, I don't know, faces, how they look at you, what they say to you, and you instantly shame yourself and feel bad about yourself. And it's just kind of how you see the world, how you interpret the world, how you interact with the world, how you see the world. It's just, it all basically stems from your parents, or childhood, or even bullying, or whatever it is. And it just keeps going and going and going, and it becomes your own voice, your own thoughts. And that's why you don't know where it comes from, because it's become a part of you. And being nice to yourself is not something you've ever done. Giving yourself grace is not something you've ever done. And it's hard to realize that that's not normal, because you've never experienced anything else. And whenever people are like, oh my god, cut yourself some slack, you just are like, no, I can't let myself get away with that, because what if it becomes a constant state? Like, what if not studying because I was stressed or whatever? What if I start making excuses for myself, and it just gets worse and worse and worse and worse because of me, because I'm lazy? And it just goes into so many different directions, especially socially, especially when being bullied, because I have been bullied. It's like you go through conversations in your head over and over again, and you doubt yourself over and over again. And it's such a bad feeling that you start avoiding things altogether. Like, it can go from doing hard jobs or studying hard, or, you know, trying to apply for a job that you've never done before. You just don't do it because you try to avoid not even the rejection particularly, but just your interpretation of, for example, the interview, and maybe even the anticipation of it. Like, thinking like, oh my god, what if they ask if I know what XYZ is and I don't know what it is? What if I stutter? What if I'm, I don't know, unfriendly accidentally? What if they don't like me? What if I embarrass myself? So even the anticipation can be the reason why you avoid things. For me, that's a big one. Like, I don't know, I have an office day instead of a home office day, and then the anticipation is so bad. Not even the going to the office, but me before going to the office being like, do I look okay? Can people handle the way I look? Do I look horrible? Can I wear this outfit? Is this too extra? Will people be offended by, I don't know, me wearing a green sweater instead of a black one? And just the thoughts and thinking and thinking and thinking, and you talking yourself out of things you actually want. And that just, you fall into a rabbit hole because you unlearn to know what you want, and you forget what you want, and you know less and less what you want, where you want to go in life. And whenever you have that instinct, like, I want that, or I want to go after that, I want that career, you don't trust that instinct. You're like, no, that's a phase or whatever, because you've talked yourself out of so many career pathways, whatever, dreams, whatever it is, that you don't trust your instincts anymore, or because you feel like, I won't go through with it anyways, or I can't do it. And you ruin your life with that. You ruin your life because you don't live. You don't trust yourself to live. You don't trust yourself to take chances. And that's so sad. And I'm almost crying because that's me too. And that's so sad, because we all keep ourselves so small because of things that happen to us that are now in our head and controlling our whole life. And we as a collective should stop and start giving ourselves some compassion and love and trust. And it always seems like things are so much more serious and terrible and scary than they are, and we know it, but we still feel like we can't go after them. So my strategy with this is just not thinking, trying to place things as close to the appointment as I can. Like, for example, making an appointment for in 30 minutes, you know, and just trying to cover that voice and not interact with it, because the more you interact with it, the more you talk yourself out of it, and the more it becomes your voice, because it isn't your voice, but it feels like your voice. But you know, with trauma, you have so many voices in your head anyways, that it's kind of hard to have control over your head and your wants and needs. And it's really scary sometimes for me as well, because sometimes I don't know who I am, I don't know what I want, because there's so much that I want and my head is just so loud. But basically, now to the strategy. What I've been trying to do is give myself a lot more compassion and a lot more trust, especially with like risk-free things, because, for example, going and opening up a business like a cafe or something, that's high risk, because I need to take a loan, and if I do that, then no, that's just, you know, high risk, and I don't trust myself enough to take such a risk, not yet. But start small and go through with it, no matter what your inner voice says. For example, with YouTube, it's been an up and down, and I've been scared of criticism. I felt like I'm not good enough, not smart enough, not interesting enough, not, I don't know, polarizing enough. I have so many different interests that I don't want to say. I want to do this kind of content because I want to do all kinds of content. You know, I don't have a niche, and I don't want a niche necessarily. I just want to talk about serious things sometimes do a gym vlog, sometimes do vlog in general, travel, try out recipes. There's just so many things that I want to do, and because of that I feel like it's unnecessary for me to do YouTube, because, you know, fitness people follow me and then I don't post fitness stuff, and then, you know, they don't watch my content and stuff. But it's really important for you to still go through with it for you, because I feel like, especially people with trauma, we have a big problem, a big issue with doing things that don't directly have an outside use for other people, and also being so scared of criticism. Like, when I post, I'm so scared of saying the wrong thing, triggering people, I don't know, being mean, accidentally saying something that's wrong or that people don't like. And it's important for you to get a backbone and tell yourself that you're okay, that you're fine, and there's nothing wrong with your opinion, and that having an opinion doesn't make you a better or worse person. On the other side, it's important for you to clock yourself. Like, if you have hateful feelings, if you spread hate, if you do something and you're being criticized for it, please ask yourself and be honest with yourself. Am I doing this for myself? Or am I actually doing that out of care for others? For example, these fat acceptance reaction videos. Most of the time I'm like, fair, they care. For example, with Beast to Beast, you see that he cares. With other people, you see that they're just doing it to kind of, you know, look down on them. And I understand it's frustrating when people lie to themselves, but it's important to, if that's your value as well, to come from a place of love and care, not from a place of hate, and always ask yourself, why am I doing this? And when you know you're doing something out of purity or from your values, then there's nothing for you to worry about, and you don't need to question yourself. And that's kind of how I've been going, and that's how I feel good about myself. Because I've had a fight, conflict, whatever with my mother, and she sees me at fault, and I've rethought the conversations, the fight. I've asked my friends for honesty. Like, if I'm wrong, please tell me, because I don't want to go blindly into this. And everyone told me, no, you're not at fault. And I stood my ground for the first time, because I just want to be happy, and I want everyone to be happy and just at peace and not fight. On the other side, it's important for me to live by my values, and my values is not enabling people. And my mom has been enabled all her life, and I don't want to do that anymore. I want her to take and learn to take accountability, and I'm standing my ground. And I fought those guilty feelings so hard because she's given me the silent treatment, etc. But it's important for you to reassure yourself and calm yourself and be like, you're okay, you're fine, you didn't do anything. And even if people leave your life, if you reflect and honestly see, I didn't do anything, it's okay. And if you did something, that's okay too, because they have a reason to leave. It doesn't reflect you as a person as long as you change it. You know, we all didn't come here perfectly, and everyone has done something that, if known publicly, you'd be cancelled. But it's okay. Don't expect yourself to be perfect, and don't criticize yourself. And it also helped me to be more in the moment, because the anticipation is one of the worst things that I'm struggling with. So I'm trying to not think, okay, in 4 hours I have an appointment. Oh no, how am I gonna get there? Are they gonna like me? Am I gonna embarrass myself? Do I look okay? Can I go outside like this? I'm just trying to pull myself back into the here now whenever that happens, and that really helps me. On the other side, it's just giving myself compassion and being like, hey, because you can't eliminate voices. You can't. They're getting quieter if you don't interact with them. But what you can do, you can actively introduce a positive voice, something, you know, someone nice in your head, like a mum. For me, it's my mother self, motherly. And, you know, I'm like, yeah, okay, you can go outside, you can do it, you're grown up and you have a right to be outside. And, you know, that really helps. And I've been feeling a lot less worse when I've just, you know, broken out of the thought spiral. It takes practice, but don't you give up on yourself. That's that for today. If you have any wishes for content, let me know. Let your girl know. And have fun. Have fun. And don't look outside, you know, because when I'm having fun, I'm trying to envision how I look from the outside and I'm like, oh my God, that must be so cringe. And then I stop having fun. So shut it off and be in the moment. Enjoy yourself. You have the right to have fun. Love you. You have the right to be yourself. Enjoy yourself. Love you.